Alright, this Silver Surfman issue is issue 81 from June 1993. The Silver Surfman meets Granny Smith, and it only gets worse from here. Not often do the comics do my job for me, but there you have it. It only gets worse from here. This is by the Rons, Ron Marsgirl and Ron Lee. And in typical Ron Marsgirl fashion, it is about half a comic padded to a full issue. We open with Granny Smith lamping Silver Surfman one in the face, and a fight between the hero and his new opponent. Some might call it a misunderstanding fight, because she misunderstands the situation and Silver Surfman's intentions. Granny Smith is a character I think of as, get this, I think of her as a noteworthy character, as a significant character, but the minute I think more about it, I remember she isn't. She is presented as one here, but outside of this introductory story, she only has one other big appearance in Thanius's Cosmic Powers miniseries, also by Ron Marsgirl, with some of the art by Ron Lee, and then the rest of the art by other people. Tom Greinberg does one, for example. I've not actually explained her yet, and that is because she spends a portion of this issue explaining her origin. She is a member of a sisterhood of warriors. No, wait, she is a member of a spinsterhood. Not sure what the pig and hell that is in this regard. She is part of an ancient order of specially trained warrior women who oppose an evil overlord who seeks to rule the universe. Their war with him has spanned centuries and millennia. And now it seems that Granny Smith is all that remains of the spinsterhood. This issue isn't her first appearance. She was teased in earlier issues. We saw her in like a cryogenic chamber. We saw her waking up from that. We saw her getting dressed. We saw her training. It was a slow build to this mysterious new character. Random, unconnected subplot pages without any dialogue. Ron Marsgirl loves cashing his checks for delivering the least amount of script he can. The issue before this, I think it is a Terry Axe issue. Well, the issue before this has Silver Surfman in space, flying around as he does. At the end, the cliffhanger was he bumped into Granny Smith. Granny Smith thinks that he is a servant of the villain that she is meant to combat. Well, that's basically where we come into this issue. Silver Surfman and Granny Smith fighting. Granny Smith thinks or thought Silver Surfman was serving the big villain. Ron Marsgirl loves opening his Silver Surfman stories with some purely pointless fighting. Would you believe me if I told you we have already finished the most dense section of this issue? Silver Surfman and Granny Smith team up to go in search of this enemy. The villain, I am getting tired of avoiding his name until the reveal. The villain has this big fortress, and we even saw that in another issue. We had a teaser for a fucking fortress. That was another Ron Marz girl specialty. Korg is coming. Then you've got to turn these pages sideways because the fortress is so bloody massive. They will stop at nothing in the script to let you know that this villain is equal to or greater than Galactus Man. I love turning pages sideways, of course. We have our two characters invade the fortress, during which we get copious amounts of exposition setting up our mega villain, all of which again amounts to comparison to Galactus Man. What I would fault this the most for is completely throwing the fight. This is where you should maybe be selling us your exciting new character, Granny Smith. This is her proper debut here, this issue. We are getting an extended look at her, and all we had were 2 pages of fighting. And then her true purpose appears to be set up for a new villain, rather than to serve as a character in her own right. Maybe that is why, if you haven't clocked it, Granny Smith is a ginormous rip-off of gonorrhea. Shamefully so. As is the case with most of these Silver Surfmans, it is Ron Lee's artwork that is helping much of what we have here. Ron Marz girl, I would say he is on autopilot, but I don't think he exists outside of autopilot. Then, both our heroes are felled by the unseen bad guy. They are beaten with a single attack. I thought Granny Smith had been bred and trained to fight and defeat this guy. Why is she being sucker punched like this? What we have when it comes to Granny Smith, that mythology, turns out it isn't even important. She is a plot device disguised as a character with purpose, and it really isn't a surprise she never stuck around. I mentioned cosmic powers already. That is her main other appearance. But I didn't mention the main thing, and that is that she becomes a love interest for Ace of Spades. Her next appearance is a short backup feature in a Silver Surfman annual, and she is forever attached to Ace of Spades. And her relationship with him is, I think I said this in the Ace of Spades issues we looked at, it's the closest thing Ron Marz girl really comes to a complete story arc. It has its beginning, it has its meaning, it has its goal, and it has a definitive conclusion. Granny Smith did not appear for almost 30 years after Cosmic Powers. It was only a year or two ago she finally returned. She-Hulks had began dating Ace of Spades, and I've already embarrassed myself by saying that the She-Hulks run, that one, it was like, it wasn't a good comic, but nothing is a good comic anymore. That one, I would pick out as somewhat readable though. Granny Smith returned in a few issues of that. With Ace of Spades now dating She-Hulks, it was a nice bit of continuity to dig Granny Smith back up and explore Ace of Spades and his past relationship with her, the vows they made to each other, etc. I appreciated it. It wasn't a good comic, but I'd not call it a horrible comic either. It brought her back in an acceptable way. It was sensible about it, and it explored some ideas with her in an inoffensive manner. And here is some spectacle. Ron Marz girl relied on Ron Lee more than Ron Lee relied on Ron Marz girl's scripts. Silver Surfman and Granny Smith are now held prisoner on this energy-draining machine alongside Mon-El from the Legion, Beta Ray Cyrus, Tyrant, and Korg. Korg as came, by the way. Korg as came and went. An excellent point is that Korg was our last mega-villain. He was introduced 10 issues ago, and he's already been doled out to job to the next mega-villain. We had seen some of these characters be captured. I remember we have looked at the issue with Mon-El. We saw when he was beat by an unseen force. It was in the Operation Galaxy Quest Aftermath issue. I will actually save some of my points about that for next issue, because it is time to meet the baddest motherfucker in the galaxy. It is the new mega villain, super bad guy, omega level threat. He is called Tylenol, and he has one of the most overly complicated, almost parody level designs. He's basically just a metal version of Terry Axe, with dreads, cable dreadlocks, wires, and then the especially amazing part is his shoulder spikes. They are pointlessly connected to his teeth. They are connected to his mouth. They are tied and wired to the sides of his lips. No explanation is ever given. He has been built to okay. Ron Marz girl could build something up okay. Korg is coming. But Ron Marz girl would really not manage to fulfill any build-up. Tylenol has a similar shelf life to Granny Smith. We'll cover that next issue. In conclusion, here is my assessment of this villain. Morgmon digivolve to Metal Morgmon. Our cliffhanger is Galactus Man senses Tylenol, and he feels that he must act now. On paper, a decent build-up to a big new villain, but it is mostly a waste. I mean, look at Granny Smith. She too was teased and established in a similar way. Then she comes out the gate and goes nowhere. She cannot even hold the attention in what is, by the cover's reckoning, her issue. I'll give this one a silver 7 thumbs up.